All right, welcome everyone to week 4 of boot camp. I am Rachel Hansen. I know it says Claudia, but I'm Rachel Hansen, and I am an advanced director on the Landy organization, and I am here with you guys today. We are going to do our week 4 call, and we also have a special guest with us today, and I will tell you about her in just a few minutes. So we've got lots we're going to cover today. Hello, more people coming on. I love it. All right, I'm going to start by figuring out how to do the whole screen share thing so I can show you what we're up to. All right. Excellent. You guys should be able to see my slides now. Someone give a nod. Excellent. All right. Woo, look at that. We're halfway there, halfway through our boot camp program, but we're not living on a prayer. We're doing what needs to be done to reach our goals, right? Everybody, a quick nod, of course. So let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far. All right, you've learned how to increase your product knowledge to maximize your sales and your bookings. You've learned that belief decides what you believe in, what you can and cannot do, and that your brain can be retrained to believe whatever you want it to believe, correct? All right. We've learned how to talk to people out and about, how to book parties at your shows, words to say out and about and at your shows, all right? You've learned about your passion and how it shines through and can completely influence everything in your business, all right? We've learned about host coaching and how you absolutely have to do it to make your parties effective, make your sales high, your bookings, keep a constant pool of leads. We're gonna talk a little bit more about host coaching in a little bit. Vicki's gonna share a few little tidbits about that. And you've learned that your skills are going to make a huge difference at every party, okay? So honing your skills in this business is key, all right? Because bigger parties, bigger results. I'd like to go out on a limb and say that everybody here would rather do a couple huge parties a month versus a bunch of small parties, right? So, all right. So do you guys, last week was host coaching. Do you guys have any questions about host coaching? Did anybody here make any videos for your hosts? Are you scared to make them? Did you print off the fridge reminder sheet? Anybody want to chime in for a moment?
I put in that I couldn't find the fridge route checklist. I was looking for that.
Okay, we'll have to find it. That might be one that's on Consultant's Corner. I will double check and find out. I'm going to make a note because if I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember. All right, anybody else? All right. Making note. All right, perfect. All right, so this week we are going to talk about recruiting. Very exciting. Key to growing your business. Roger's excited. Excellent. So we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting and why it doesn't actually have to be scary, okay? Recruiting is just a conversation. That's literally all it is, okay? There's no perfect thing to say. There's honestly no wrong thing to say. You're just trying to help someone decide if this is going to be a good fit for them. The only thing I would say, not that there's like a wrong thing to say, but the only thing I would say that can hinder your recruiting is if you like word vomit information onto people, all right? You just want to make sure that you're giving people the information that they want and that they need, and everything else they'll learn along the way. I'm fairly positive that none of you knew every single thing there is to know about Pampered Chef the day that you signed up. And I'm sure you guys are all on this call because you still don't know every single thing there is to know about this business. I don't know everything there is to know about this business. Our nationals don't know. We're all learning every single day, okay? So we can't expect our new people to know everything right off the bat anyway, or either. All right, so how do we know what to say? Okay, it's pretty easy. There are tons and tons of resources. I'm going to share with you a 7-question recruiting flyer. And of course, we have our recruiting cards as well that you can either download and cut out or you can purchase. And then the biggest thing here is to ask a question. And then like it says on the screen, shut up and listen. literally listen to what they're saying, because they will tell you what they want and need to know. Okay? So here is our interview worksheet. All right? The number one thing you want to do when you're having an interview, and we call it an interview, it sounds so formal, but when you're having that initial chat with somebody and finding out if this business is going to be helpful for them, will it work for them, when you set up an interview with somebody or you set up a call just to chat and learn more, the first thing you want to do is just start by saying, all right, thanks for joining me today. Quick question. Do you have some more questions about the business, or are you just ready to sign up? Because you would be surprised how many people, if you set up a chat the next day, say Vicki and I chat at a party and I schedule a time to call her the next day, you'd be surprised how many Vicki's will go home, read up about it and say, you know what, I'm totally going to do this. And then when I talk to her the next day, if I start sitting there and word vomiting, here, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, you can do this, you can do this, you need to know this, I might scare her away. But if I just say, do you have questions, or are you just ready to dive in? She may say, you know what, I'm ready, let's do this. Easiest interview ever, right? Okay. But if they have some more questions, if they want to learn more, then there are a list on the screen of 7 great questions to ask. Start by asking what about this company is interesting to you? What did I do or say at my party last night or on the virtual party that got you excited or got you interested? Why do you think you would be a great consultant? Get them thinking about why they are so awesome. Get them looking at their schedule. When you look at the next 6 or 8 weeks, do you have 4 or 6 nights that are available for going out and doing parties, doing shows, or running virtual parties? And if they say they're really booked, ask them if it's just this month, maybe the next couple of months look okay. All right. On the days you have parties, do you have someone who can watch your kids, if they have kids? And if they say, well, yeah, my husband, have you discussed it with your husband? How does he feel about you starting a business? Get them thinking. And of course, this is out of date. But as far as the next question and the cost, there are 3 kits, all right? 109 up to 249. And depending on which kit they're interested in, you can say this is going to cost $109 to get you started. Is that something you can afford? And if they say no, what are we going to talk about next?
Kit credit.
Kit credit. Thank you. Whoever that was. Thank you. And then the next question is, what type of training do you find works best for you? They may be a one-on-one person. They might like phone calls. They might like videos that they can see everything. They might like to have things written out. Everybody's a little bit different. Okay. So then you can kind of take some notes. It's okay to take notes. And then give a quick recap. And here's an example. Pam, it's clear to me that Pampered Chef would be a great fit. You have many qualities that'll help you build a successful business, such as you're outgoing, you already know a ton of people, you have a couple open nights every week that you'd love to fill. You clearly have the time to work your business consistently, you've got great support from your family, and you have the money to invest in your kit. So my last question is, when do you want to get your first paycheck? Or what do you think? Are you ready to get started? Okay. And it's just that easy. Honest to goodness, it is. You don't need to worry. You don't need to make recruiting a big, scary thing. And I know lots of us make it feel very scary, but it's literally just asking questions. And you just want to remember that we are all in this business because it did something for us. We started for a reason. There's something that called to us that's why we all started. So, there's all those reasons for somebody else too. And everybody on this call probably has a different reason for starting, so not everybody that you meet is going to have the same reason that you might. Okay. So of course, and we also have the interview cards. These are really great because you can literally hold on to them and use them. So we've got the Tell Me About Yourself card. And on the back, it has a couple of questions. Just tell me a little bit about your family. Tell me a little bit about what you do. Tell me about what you do in your free time, just so you can get to know that person and build that relationship. And then you can just lay out the next 6 cards. fun, support, why pampered chef, money, easy, freedom and flexibility. You lay them out with those words face up, and you just say, hey, what would you like to learn more about? Someone might say, you know what, I want to learn about how easy it is. You go ahead and you flip over that card, and there are some cues on the back for things that you can talk about why it's easy. Because there's going to be people that money might not be the factor, right? A lot of people, money is the factor, and they want to know, how much can I earn? And so they may want to read that card. But for other people, money might not be the reason that they want to do this. It might be so that they can get out of the house. It might be because they want a new support system and meet some new people. It might be that they want some personal development and growth. It might not be the money. So you don't always want to assume that they need to know that information. And so these cards will help prevent the word vomit that I was talking about, because you can focus on what they want to know about. Okay. So I'll post these links in the event page after our call, so that you can see the printable cards and a sample script of how to use them. Okay. We're not going to go through them too much today, just because I have a special guest for you. But then there's also a set of instructions on our website of how to use them. So I definitely recommend taking some time to go through those as well. And I keep a set of these cards in my show bag, my bag that I take with me to every show. Because if I'm sitting and doing checkout and someone wants to learn more right then and there, I can pull out the cards and have them there with me. So the main message, guys, is don't freak out. It's just a conversation. It's just chatting with somebody. It's sharing something that you are passionate about, something you love, this amazing business, and just helping to see if this is going to be a good fit for them. You don't necessarily want people on your team that don't want to do this, right? Because that's just a waste of time for you and for them and for everybody, and it's just a hassle, right? So if someone's really not interested, first of all, they're going to tell you. And second of all, you don't need to deal with that anyway. So this conversation is really just to help figure out if this is going to be a good fit. And anybody who is even considering it a little bit, those are the people that are going to sit and talk to you, right? And not every single person you talk to will join. But if they don't, keep them on your potential recruit list, because they are interested. They offered to sit and talk with you, okay? So as we go through our boot camp, we're still working on your skills. We talked about the 4 pillars of success, and we're still working on skills. Skills are a huge, huge major component of your success. The more you tweak them, the bigger your skill, bigger your paycheck. You've got all these skills that we're working on: selling, host coaching, booking, recruiting. The more you work on those, the better your business is going to be. All right. So here are 8 things that you can work on. The thing about skills is that anyone can make their skills better at any time in their business, right? This is an easy thing to work on. It takes some time, it takes some effort, but we can all do it. Okay. So for recruiting this week, practice recruiting a friend. Call up a friend. Quick tip, maybe a friend that you think would be great in this business. Call them up and just say, hey, I'm going through this boot camp program with Pampered Chef with my team, and I want to practice going through these recruiting cards. Do you think that we could sit down and have coffee, or we could chat on the phone, and you could let me walk through them with you? A good friend is going to say sure, right? And I've heard many, many stories of this happening, and that friend saying, you know what? I want to sign up. I want to try this, right? Because they learned just enough to get them excited and hooked too, okay? So study those little recruiting cards, try them out. There are tons of trainings on from the home office, on PC University, on our webpage, on YouTube, tons of training from all sorts of top leaders. Think about some of the top leaders that you saw at conference. Look them up on YouTube. Look for recruiting trainings. You'll find tons, all right? Make sure that you are involved, going to team meetings, recipe nights, going to classes, new consultant trainings. There is a new round of new consultant trainings happening starting next week, starting today. New consultant training starts today. Thank you, Roger. And it's going to be like a 4-week course, if you will. Every week for 4 weeks, there'll be a different topic for new consultants, and then they'll repeat. So that's a really great thing. You guys are here, you're doing this program because you want to learn more and do more. It'd be really great to jump onto some of those calls and learn more as well. Go to conference. Of course, I hope a lot of you went to conference. I hope a lot of you are coming to the retreat in October. read books. Leaders read and readers lead is what they say. YouTube trainings I mentioned, and do lots of shows. Share at your shows, be excited, be passionate. Skills are easily taught, they're easily caught, and 8 will make you great. See, 8 tips, 8 shows a month, 8 makes you great. See what I did there? I was really clever. Okay. So before we get to questions, I'm sorry I zoomed right through that real fast because I want to give Vicki Utecht a few minutes to chat. She's here with us. She is on Yvonne Matson's downline, and she is a 100% virtual consultant. She is amazing, and she is joining us today just to share a little bit of her story and some tips for virtual parties and a little bit about how she recruits at her virtual parties. Since I'm more of the cooking show gal, she's here to talk a little bit about her experience in general. So thank you for joining us, Vicki. You want to go ahead and take it away?
Thank you, Rachel. I'm happy to be here. One thing I have to tell you guys, I should say 3 things I have to tell you guys, is set goals, dream big, and definitely attend national conference. When I heard people say that conference was a game changer, you need to attend conference, I'm like, okay. I never had sold anything before, so this was my first direct sales business that I ever did. Never attended a conference for direct sales. I did for my full-time job. So when they had said that, I was like, okay, I'll trust them. So I was an admin in an office, and I loved my job. And this was 3 years ago. I had signed up August of 2014. So I've been with the company now 3 years this month. And I signed up, I just wanted an extra $200 a month because my kids were going from public school, which is free, to parochial private school, which there was tuition. So I said to my husband, I said, it'd be nice to have, some extra income. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I knew that I did not want to go to Walmart. I did not want to go to Target. I didn't want to work in any store where they had to set my hours. I had a cooking show. Every year I would host a party. And I had a cooking show in August at my house. And it was just a blessing how it all worked out together, because I wouldn't have thought of Pampered Chef, honestly, you guys, if I didn't have that cooking show at my house. So I decided that I would sign up. So August 2014, I signed up, remember, just for an extra $200 a month. I was all virtual. I thought, I have a full-time job, I'm busy. I don't have time to do cooking shows. I'm just going to pass the catalog around. I didn't even know that there was virtual at that time at all. I didn't know there was the Facebook groups for virtual. So what I was doing is I would pass the catalog around. If they had friends on Facebook they wanted to invite, I created this closed group. And I took pictures of my products that were in my kitchen because I had no clue about any of this. Didn't even play games at that time in my parties. So 90 days after being with the company, I was #1 in the top 20 consultants selling over 15,000 in that first 90 days. So I was like, oh my gosh. And let me tell you guys, I got a lot of Pampered Chef dollars. I was like, ching, ching, this is awesome. And I guess at that point, I really thought that, everybody sold 15,000 in their first 90 days. Really, I did. I had no clue about this business at all. All I knew is that I was selling and I loved it. I had been buying Pampered Chef for 20 years. So July 2015, I attended my first national conference. It was just me. I wasn't a consultant. Nobody under me. I did talk about recruiting, but yeah, if I recruited, I recruited. That's kind of what I thought about it. When I went to conference, you guys, I saw the big picture. Just all of the excitement, seeing the directors walk on stage. I leaned over to my director and I said, next year, I will walk that stage at conference. I signed my first recruit in August. So 1 month after being at conference, I signed my first recruit and I was super excited. February of 2016, I promoted to director. May of 2016, I promoted to advanced director. In June, I found out that I was an elite seller. I wasn't keeping track of, I guess, my sales and being an elite seller because I thought I couldn't do that. July 2016, then, I attended national conference. And you guys, I did not only walk that stage as a director like I really wanted to do, but I walked it as an advanced director I had earned excellence in personal sales, and I had already earned the trip to Mexico. And my family, we weren't ones growing up as a child that did a lot of traveling at all. I never had a passport. My husband and I, with our kids, we would always hear of people like family spring break, they were going to Mexico, all these awesome trips. And, we just couldn't afford it. When we went to Florida, we drove with the kids in the minivan to Florida. So when I found out that I earned this trip to Mexico, let me tell you, I was like a kid going to Disney. I mean, seriously. I had been working two full-time jobs at that point because my Pampered Chef business grew so much. And I also was an admin in an office. So two full-time jobs. Last year, August of 2016, so 1 year ago, I left my full-time job for this business. And I never, ever would have dreamed that I would have done this. I had been there 20 years, you guys, and I love that job. And when a lot of people talk about their jobs, some people, they don't like their jobs. They're not making a good wage. They don't like anything, about it. They want to get out. I can honestly say in 20 years, I loved going to that job every day. So for me, it was the hardest step ever. I had the belief of Yvonne Matson. She believed in me, and she's actually the one that said, Vicki, you can do this. I would have never thought about, leaving my job. So in 2016, my personal sales were $146,254 and 24 qualified recruits. So let's fast forward 1 year later to conference. This year, you guys, at conference, I walked stage. I earned the Founders Award in 2 categories. I remember hearing about the Founders Award, and I didn't pay that much attention to it because I thought that's for people that have been selling for 20 years. That's for people that have been in the business a long time. And I just didn't make it in 1 category. I made it in 2, and I could not believe it. In excellence, I earned personal sales and recruits. And at the end of April of this year, I already earned Puerto Rico. So I'm going on another, every year I've been in the business, I have earned a vacation. You can do this. You can do anything you want to do. And Pampered Chef has it has blessed me. I've met so many wonderful friends. I just can't tell you. So if there's one thing that I can tell you, and I tell my team this, I have 71 girls under me now in my organization. Just being in the business, you guys, 3 years. And I left my full-time job, which was a wonderful job. And I decided Pampered Chef was the way to go. So I truly believe in our business, and you guys can do the same thing. Set goals, definitely have goals, you guys. And I did. If I wouldn't have had the goals that I have, I don't believe that I'd be where I am today. If I would have never attended that national conference that first year, I don't think that I would have seen the whole big picture and wanted to recruit and have people under me and build a team and share the business with others. So a lot of people say, oh my gosh, virtual parties, that is what you do. I do, because I started my business virtual. You can only imagine my business is all over the United States. I don't have a lot of people. I have customers here in town, but I have so many out of state and so many hosts now over the past 3 years that come back to me. They have a party every year. So I do cooking shows. Last year I did 12 in a whole year. This year, I think so far I've only done 4 of them. But 3 tips I want to share with you guys is with the virtual parties is definitely host coaching. I tell my team, you need to pick up the phone to host coach, and you will see a big difference. If you're one who is afraid to pick up the phone, and say you're doing the virtual parties and you think, okay, for virtual parties, it's okay to message. It is not okay to message. You want to pick up that phone. You will notice a big difference. You're going to build a relationship with the host. And that is the most important, because that host, you guys, they could be your next recruit. And I will tell you, with doing virtual parties, my recruits that I have are all for my virtual parties. Almost all of them are past hosts of mine. I've never met them. I built a relationship with them by picking up the phone. And now I am recruiting guests in my parties too that are signing up for the business. The second thing is getting bookings. One thing I do is when I'm talking to that host, remember I have her on the phone, I say, our goal is to get you 3 bookings from your party. And I tell her why. I don't want her to think it's about me and what I get. I put it all, I mean, it's all about her. And I tell her that she gets 1 item at half off from everyone that books a party when they have their party and they qualify. So who doesn't want more products? And usually she's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Because I have her think of on her wish list, you know, the expensive items that she wants. You know, save 3 of those because, you know, when you get your bookings, you'll be able to get 1 of those at half off. So we work together because it's our goal. So I ask her who she thinks would book a party. She knows her friends better than I do. I do not know her friends. I don't know who would be interested and who wouldn't be. And then I go through, you know, like her wish list and everything with her as far as, you know, what she wants. And then for the bookings, everybody that places an order, I ask them if they'd like to have a party. And anyone that's really engaged in the virtual show, playing the games, commenting a lot, those are the guests that I will ask if they want to book a party. And then as far as recruiting, in my host packet, I always send out the orange brochure as far as talking about the business. And then I print out the kit credit coupon and I put that in there as well. So when I'm talking to her in the beginning of our phone conversation, we're going, you know, through my host coaching with her, I will, I'll tell her, you know, that in her kit, or in her host packet, she has information about the business. And I'll say to her, I don't know if you've ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef, but if you are, definitely talk to me. I explain the kit credit coupon and I let her know, you know, right now you might not know if this is something that you want to do, but throughout the party, if you're liking, you know, what you're seeing that I'm doing, and if this is something that you think that you would want to do, let me know and we'll talk. And a lot of times throughout the party, they're seeing that they can do this. And if I have an awesome host, you guys, who she's basically doing everything that I'm doing, I tell her, you could totally do this and you could be making money. And another thing I say to them is, could you use any extra money? Who couldn't use extra income? You guys, right? I'll never have anybody that says no. They usually always say yes. Sometimes they'll say yes, or sometimes they'll say yes, but. And the but would be because I'm too busy. And then I always have a response to share with them. So I don't know how much time we have, Rachel, but I'll answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Vicki. Look at that, right on time, noon. So we usually leave about 15 minutes open for questions. Look at that, air high five for us being awesome. Bam. Look at all you guys. I love it. Who has questions? Open it up. Ask Vicki. She's amazing. Isn't her story just absolutely just mind-blowing? Vicki,
I have a question.
Lori, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to walk away because your story made me like cry. So I was over there writing all kind of notes down. Thank you for such a great story.
Oh.
Okay, my question was that very last thing. They say they're too busy to even be a virtual host. What's the answer to the but? That,
So,
you know,
Great question.
a lot of times, so I'll ask them, you know, could you use any extra income? Could you use any extra money? And then a lot of them will say yes, or they'll say yes, but I'm too busy. And then I ask them, you guys, I do a lot of listening. Definitely I do a lot of listening, but I ask them, you know, like, what is their fear? What do they think would get in the way? So if someone thinks, a lot of times, you guys, people, they think they're too busy, but they really aren't. I mean, they don't prioritize their time. What are they doing with their time? A lot of people at night, let me tell you what they do. They sit and they watch TV. They have all their favorite shows that they watch, or they're on their phones and they're, you know, playing Candy Crush or whatever on their phones. They're on Facebook anyways. They could be making extra money. I give them examples of girls on my team. So when they say they're too busy, I give them an example of one of the girls on my team. She works full time and she's going to school and she sells Pampered Chef. and then I give them different ideas. Now, with doing the virtual, I let them know that, you know, before they go to work in the morning, they're going to post their first post in their party. When they come home at night, they're posting. It doesn't really take a lot of time. If they want to do cooking shows, I let them know. If you want to do one cooking show a week, you know, it's not like they have to do 3 a week. So I just work with them. I talk them out of their excuses. And a lot of times it is. I mean, it's excuses. And a lot of people, you guys, they could use the extra income. I see that all the time. And there's 2 girls on my team, and I could just cry when I share this. But 1 month, one of them was 1 month after they were selling, and the other one, she was probably selling for a couple months. And both of them called me, and they both just said, Vicki, I just have to thank you. And I'm like, I wasn't sure what they were thanking me about, because a lot of times people call me and they're thanking me for sharing things. Both of them told me that they were living paycheck to paycheck until I asked them to sign up for Pampered Chef. And every time I say that, I get the goosebumps. And that is, I know, and that's just so much more than me getting the paycheck, is helping somebody else. So I love recruiting. In the beginning, you guys, I will tell you, I did not want to have a team. I just wanted to sell, be my own person, do my own thing, because I had a wonderful job as an administrative assistant in a company who, I mean, it was a great job. And I left all of that for you guys, for Pampered Chef, to help other people. So when they have their excuses, a lot of times there are excuses. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's easier for me to talk to them about it because I did work full-time outside the company, plus I did this job full-time. So I work with them around different ways to do it. Does that answer your question or no?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Who else has some questions for Vicki or for me? But take advantage of Vicki. You can talk to me anytime.
Yeah, anything you guys want to know about the virtual parties and what I do, definitely ask me, because I like to share. I do.
One more question. Do you use Post My Party?
I use SendShare.
SendShare. Okay, so you do use something like that. Set it all up and off you go.
Yes.
Okay.
I run 6 parties at a time.
Okay.
So when I start my parties, I start 6. Like this Friday, I'm gonna kick 6 off at once. It's a lot easier for me to have them all 6 start on one day. And I start my parties on a Friday and I close them the following Friday. So there's 2 Friday pay periods. And all of this I've learned just from doing it, you guys, just because I've done it from the beginning. I just learned different things that work. I've tried tons of different things. I've tried the 1 hours. I do groups for you guys that do events. I've tried events, and look I don't do well with events. Don't ask me why. I mean, I have high sales, but I try events and they don't work. So I stick to groups, and I've tried 2 different times going back to events. So groups just work for me. So that's what I stick with. So I do an 8-day party, and I add my guests. I add my host the day before to the party. So on Thursdays, I add her, and then I have her add her guests on Thursday. And then Friday is my first post. I only run the party online for 8 days, but if she wants to keep it open longer to pass the catalog around to get outside orders, she can. I mean, if she needs it open 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, I'm just only going to post on Facebook for 8 days because it's too many notifications for people, and I don't want them to get sick of seeing all the notifications, because then they don't even like online parties.
How many posts a day do you do?
I do my first 2 days, I do the most posts because I'm giving them a lot of information. I don't post products or anything until the first 24 hours, because anybody that orders in the first 24 hours when the party starts, they get put into a drawing. And I do the whole ticket thing. I do that. I don't know if you guys do that, but we play the games. So my first 2 days, there's more posts because it's like the guest special. I explain the shipping. The other days, I probably do 7. Always 1 in the morning, always a product in the morning. At lunchtime, I do either a recipe or a cooking tip. And then at night, usually when people get home from work, I'll usually have my first post then be like around 5 o'clock. The latest I ever post is 9, and then I'll and then I only have one game going at a time. So as soon as one game, like somebody wins the game, then I'll post another one. I never have 2 going at the same time. And I probably only do, I would say 4 games throughout my party. I used to do more, but now it seems like I do about 4 of them.
So how many product of those posts, how many are product posts during a day?
The morning, and then if I do, I would say 5. I would say 5. Morning always. And then when we get down, I do the countdown, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. In the morning, the first post will be, there's 3 more days left, till the party ends. And then I'll post a product. And then day 2 in the morning, or when there's 2 days left, that post will be 2 days left in the product. So I don't count that 2-day post, as one of the posts, because I definitely want to show a product. It's very hard to show for any of you that do virtual. Are any of you guys virtual, or are you virtual in cooking, or?
I'm virtual and cooking.
You're virtual and cooking. It's really hard to show all the products for virtual because I have so many favorites. It's hard. It's hard for me.
Well, if you think about it, we don't show all the products when we do a cooking show either.
No.
That's one of those things that's hard to remember because you do that virtual party, you're like, I want to just show you everything. Just like recruiting, I want to tell you everything, but you can't. You got to find something for later.
Yes, you do. So like the rock crock, the slow cooker, stoneware, the higher, I do put some products in that aren't high dollars because, some people don't have a lot of money. And if you post all of that, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, everything's so expensive. So I do mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but at what point if you do a group, at what point do you do like a live demo?
I do, throughout the party, I post videos. I don't do any live demos, you guys. I guess I haven't gotten to that point yet because I am so busy. I do probably 20 online parties a month. I was doing 30. Believe it or not, I was doing 30 online parties, $15,000 in sales. I started growing my team, and then I had to cut down to doing 20 online parties. So I will record videos, me showing different products, the boil over no more, products that they need to see. And they like, even though they can watch our Pampered Chef videos, it seems like it's just a way for me to connect with them. The whipped cream maker, stuff like that. So I'll record videos. And the reason I do that, you guys, is because then, I can put them in another party. But as far as the demos live, I haven't done that yet. But if you are doing it, that's awesome because I do want to do that.
So you say you run the groups all at once, like 6 groups at a time. Is that correct?
Yep, six at a time.
All right. So they're starting and ending at the exact same time, or do you stagger them?
Nope.
Because is it the same post in all of the groups?
It's the same posts, but I'll change them up by like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So I don't get into Facebook jail. But I do. Right. I took a chance of, I tried it in the beginning. I'm going to try to run 6 parties at once. And I thought, and I've been doing that now probably a year and a half. I've been doing 6 at a time, and I haven't had any problems. And maybe that is because I use my own wording, or like my graphics. I'll put like a different border or something, behind it, so it's not like everybody else's. But I do the 6, and I haven't had a problem.
Do you also go in there and post? I know you said you have them post on their own, but are you also going in there and interacting? Is that how that works, or your post going in there is good? You don't have to go in there during the day and.
I do. I can because this is my full-time job. But when I worked outside the home, then it was a lot harder. But during the day, yep, I go in and I check the games. I comment. I have my host really get involved too.
Okay.
Definitely. I send her something every day to post in the party. Sometimes I'll tell her, take a picture of your favorite product and post it. This is one day. Take a picture of your favorite product, post it. Some of them will go live. If they'll go live, but some of them are totally afraid of that. You know what I mean? But I will have them take a picture at least of their favorite product, post it, and tell everybody why you love it, because they love to hear from the host, you guys. It's not my party. It's the host party. It's their party. And I'll say that in the beginning in my host coaching. It would be like if I was, and I say this, everybody laughs, my team. I will say to the host, I'll say, it were like if I was coming to your house to do a live cooking show. If you sat in the bathroom the whole time and didn't come out, what would happen? Your guests would leave.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in a virtual party. And I say that because I want her to get it. You know what I mean? Like, she needs to be active so much more. Some people think, oh, virtual parties are easy. Oh, virtual parties are easy. I mean, they're easy, but they're not that easy. There's still work. You have to put the effort into them. Otherwise, you're not going to get the sales.
Right.
I think it's easier because I'm sitting here at home and I'm doing my business. I'm not going outside the house. And for me, it just happened that way because I started off virtual. If I would start off cooking where I had people in the area, it would be different. But now 3 years into this, I have hosts, they're from different states all over, and they'll order out on my personal website. That's why it's so important. Pick up the phone and talk to them.
Okay. So groups and events, basically, it's just that they're identical except for a group. So you're setting up as a group instead of an event. The group, you add people to it, but you can't. They can't just join in on it by clicking going. They have to be added by somebody, right? Where events, the host. I mean, what's the major difference? I guess maybe that's about should.
So Kay, one of the things that you can do, and we can see how Vicki does this, but I mean, one of the things that I tell people to do, because I also use groups instead of events. Facebook has made a lot of changes to notifications on events, and people just don't get notifications in events as much as they used to.
Okay.
So that was really hindering my parties. So I've done both. So I'm back to just doing groups. And what I have found to be very effective is that when my host adds everybody, if she sends out a quick message to everybody, and it could be a copy pasted message, just to say, hey, Kay, I added you to this group. Here's the link. I'm having an online Facebook party. It's going to run for just a week. I hope you'll join us. My friend Vicki is running it. It's going to be super fun. Recipe tips, games. She's giving away prizes. I just wanted to let you know. Boom. All you have to do, because if you do that, you're acknowledging the fact that you added them to a group. And you know what, Kay? If you decide you don't want to be part of my party, you can just leave. But people don't like being added to groups just willy-nilly without any sort of notification.
Right, right.
Yes, you could go out and say, hey, you could do, if you're worried about the whole invite thing, you could send messages to all these people and say, hey, I'm having this party. Can I add you to the group? Right? And then that host, when they get yes responses, can then add people in. Or, I mean, that's up to the host and their comfort level.
Right.
Which way they want to do it, but my hosts usually just add and then send a little message. Do you do anything different, Vicki?
I do the exact same thing. I have a graphic that I created, and in there it has all of the wording, kind of like what you were saying, Rachel. My friend Vicki, she's hosting a Pampered Chef party for me, and it's going to be lots of fun games. So I will send that to my hosts in Messenger so they can just send that graphic out to the people that they invite with the link. So at least they're getting personal invite. Yep, I do the same thing. And if they choose not to, I can't make them do it, but I let them know that people like to get a personal invite.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
want to say, I think that was a great idea about bringing the cards right to the checkout, the interviewing cards. Because they're even just a nice little thing to have there. Hey, what's this, you know?
Exactly. Just lay them out. Just have them sitting on your table. You know, when you're sitting there typing things into your phone or adding things up, people will pick them up and flip them over and look at them.
Right. I think that was a great idea.
And and those are the people, even if you've got a big party and you don't have time to really have that conversation, make a note on your feet that, hey, this person was looking at the cards, and call them up the next day and just say, hey, Lori, it was great to meet you last night. I noticed you were looking at those cards a little bit while I was doing checkout. Did you have any questions I could answer?
Right.
Because you have to remember there's also those people that you're going to meet that are maybe in like the situation Vicki talked about, those people who were living paycheck to paycheck, and not everybody wants all their friends to know that they're struggling.
Right.
You don't. People are too proud for that. And so if you make that connection, you call the next day, they might be willing to, ask you a few questions when all their friends aren't around to listen and hear, And so that just gives you that opportunity to kind of make that mental note and maybe bring it up in conversation that night. Maybe just make sure that that's part of your customer care call the next day.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're posting, you're recording this, correct?
I sure am.
Okay, because I was here working and totally lost track of time and jumped in late, so I missed that part of the.
That's okay. I will post the recording as soon as it's ready. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for Vicki or myself?
I did have one other question I had forgotten. That Friday to Friday, that's your whole party, your pre-party and everything? Pre-party, post-party, everything? That's everything?
Yes. Yep.
And Roger, the new outline that we talked about last night is 9 days with everything in there. So it's about the same as what Vicki's doing.
Okay.
Excellent. Anything else that you guys want to ask? Stevie's upside down now. What is she doing?
Does she have, can we see?
Busy putting stuff away, listening.
I think the posting real videos is a real cool idea. People really want to see you in the kitchen, fumbling with your things, being real. So I think that's a really great idea.
Excellent. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much, Vicki, for joining us today. I know Vicki is on that event page for today's call, so if you come up with another question later, you can post it in there and tag her, and maybe she'll be kind enough to answer it.
I will. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for joining us. It's so fun to learn from you. And Vicki and I have known each other for quite a while, a couple of years, probably since you've been in the business. And she is so fabulous. So I'm glad you could join us today. I'm glad you could be on the call with me. That's exciting.
I know. I was excited too.
All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and turn off the recording. You guys all have a fabulous day. I will post some of those links, and I will post the homework link as well. You've got some calls to listen to for your homework, some training calls. You guys are used to how that goes by now. So I will get that Google link posted with all of that information in just a few moments.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you,
All right,
Rachel.
bye-bye.
You too,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Make sure you check out the training
Bye.
page.
See you guys.